Hello, good people on the internet. How are you doing? It's Josh over here at Bonus Stage, and I am joined today by Daniel, who is known as Audio Mocha. He has released a beautiful album called Seas of Destiny, and that's why we're here tonight. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty great, Josh. Yeah, I mean, enjoying the rainy weather today here.
Oh man, it's kind of the opposite of the theme of this album, actually.
It's kind of weird. It's never usually this rainy around these parts. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just nice because the alternative tends to be wildfire. So it's like, all right, I'll enjoy the rain.
Yeah, we'll take it when we can get it for sure. Oh my God, it's very much the same thing up here in BC. Yeah, well, dude, we've got quite a wet album here tonight. Seas of Destiny, a Xenoblade Tropical Tribute. Daniel, why don't you just kick us off and tell us why you wanted to put this album together?
So basically, for years, I've been wanting to do a Xenoblade album because I love the series. Uh, And I mean, funny enough, I didn't think I would get into it that much because back when when I played it on the Wii, because I just got it. I mean, I just got it just for fun because I was following just kind of lightly Operation Rainfall way back in the day, and I remember being huge into the. Actually, I don't remember if I played the last story before Xenoblade or after, but I played the game through less than reputable means. I mean, that was just how things were back in the Wii. So
Yeah,
and I didn't have the money back then. I thought, let me try this out. Might as well.
Nintendo, we've
And
got them.
they made plenty of money from me since then.
Yeah.
I mean, with Xenoblade. So I played the game. At first, I thought this is weird. This is like it's like it controls weird. I'm not. I mean, I'm not sure. I get it, and I was about to quit on it, and then I just kept going, and then I realized, no, this is awesome. This music is great.
Mhm.
So then, I mean, ever since then, I've been a huge fan. Uh, Kind of went up and down with Xenoblade X, but I mean, I always fight with Xenoblade X fans and whatnot. So for a while, I've been wanting to make, uh, been wanting to make a Xenoblade album because I just like absolutely love the music from it.
Oh man, and I got to tell you, it's so refreshing to have somebody on the show here, a VGM artist who has actually played the game of the music that they're covering. So yeah, your passion for this game is definitely kind of woven through your covers and everything. Did get a chance to listen through it, and it's just beautiful. Love the surf rock sound. Yeah, why don't you? Damn it! No, I had a good question about playing Xenoblade specifically, but it's escaped me now. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the inspiration for like the sounds, because you've kind of produced this a lot on your own. So yeah, I just want to hear like how you came up with like the different sounds that you used throughout it.
So that was kind of interesting since this is pretty much like my largest release. So like track by track. Funny enough, I'm just gonna pull up Dwelling of Duel since I did so much of
Oh
it for there.
yeah.
Uh, a whole lot of this came together honestly, kind of just looping. I would just be like, oh, let me get my looper and then just kind of jam out to this track and like see how it comes along. So let's see. Some of the tracks it was less like that and more like, oh, this one would sound kind of cool with the slide guitar, like like the one for Satterall Marsh. I thought this track is perfect for having some slide guitar on it. Let me see how it turns out.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, for other tracks like my Magna Forest track, that one I literally just picked because I went on a playlist like on the big Xenoblade playlist and I just said let me see what tracks don't really get enough love, and I picked Magna Forest and I thought, well, let me see what I can do with this. And at first I was just like, all right, but then one day I was playing with my looper and I realized, wait, if I try to give this like a more Latin spin, this will sound great. So that one, like I came in thinking of it pretty mid, it's going to be pretty mid, and then it ended up being my favorite one of them all, honestly. For let's see, for the like one for like the final like for the final boss track. That one I just eh, like I kind of just been thinking over the years like, oh man, I already have Surfing with Zanza. Like that one's an old track of mine, and I remade it because like the original way I released it, I thought this is okay. I can do better. And then, but there was there was a second like the second boss fight stage, and I listened to it through a few times, and I thought this would be pretty awesome if I were to try to make it surf. And somehow it ended like that one ended up working out. So that's a few examples of tracks. Well, like of how I thought some of the sounds.
All right. Well, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that as we get through them because, yeah, some of those will be very fresh in our mind. When you said that you would sit down with your looper and just kind of go through it, it just made me think a lot about grinding, which is something that you do quite a bit in JRPGs. And that reminded me of the question that I wanted to ask before, which was like, you said it took you a while to kind of latch on to the Xenoblade game. Was it your first JRPG?
Ooh, not even close.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a
No,
big
no.
JRPG fan, so if you can get into Xenoblade, then I guess I can.
So, JR, I've been a huge fan of JRPGs for a long, long time. Ever since I played Final Fantasy VI,
hmm,
which that was back like I don't remember when I first played it. I remember just getting like a CD full. Like it was kind of weird. Like my uncle just had a CD full of emulators and ROMs,
yeah.
and I just thought, hey, I keep hearing about this Final Fantasy thing, and I just saw six, and I just started playing through it.
That
And
was your
since then,
first one?
that was my first one.
Oh.
My first one, and I played it back. Actually, now that I think of it, that would have been 2007 or 2008.
Mm.
So it's semi recently. Like I haven't been into JRPGs that much because I thought, oh, turn based battles, that sounds lame. And then I played through a game and was like, this is all right. I am wrong. I tend like pretty much every game that I love, I've been wrong about. Like I remember the first time I saw Ocarina of Time since I moved to the US. I thought like I saw it and I thought that looks kind of dumb. Like his shorts are very small.
Mhm.
And then and then years later, I got the GameCube CD, and I'm just like, this is the greatest game of all time. And now I've played it so much that I can't play it ever again because I've played it way too much.
Yeah, you've definitely closed the chapter on your Ocarina phase of your life. Oh man. Well, we
But
should
then there's
open up a
Ocarina of Time
chapter.
3D.
Sorry?
But then there's Ocarina of Time 3D, which brought it all back.
Oh my god. Oh man. Well, I was going to say maybe we should get into some of this awesome album that you've created. Yeah, we've got a couple of tracks coming up here. Maybe you can help specify because you did let me know that not all of these tracks are from the first Xenoblade game. Several of them are, but most of them are, or most of them are, but some of them aren't. So we've got La Colonia Novena from Colony 9. That's the Colony 9 theme. And then My Boy Shulk, which is the Gower Plains. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, tell us about like where these tracks are from a little bit before we listen.
All right, so I just pulled up my own track list just to remind myself. But Colony 9, well, actually, tracks 1 through 4, they are all Xenoblade 1.
Oh, great.
Xenoblade 2 is track 5 and 6. Xenoblade 3 is track 7.
Mhm.
After that, it is back to Xenoblade 1. So it's pretty much start at Xenoblade 1, kind of deviate a little, come right back.
Come right back. Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. Guar Plains? Yes, Taladar. Oh my god, where you get sprayed with all manner of man-made liquids. All right, well, we're going to dip into some natural liquids with the Seas of Destiny kicking off here. Let's listen. Oh man, yeah, that's a really beautiful opening. It feels epic, you know, like we're going to be sailing off into the sunset on this beach that we're on. Uh, that was awesome, dude. Backstage, you were telling me you had a fun little story about the title for that one. That was that was my my boy Shulk, and
Yeah.
how that's related to Smash Bros.
So
What's the correlation there?
so for that one, it's just uh basically what happened is that I mean way back in 2014, I just looked up the reveal date and everything for when Shulk was going to be in Smash. When that reveal happened, like I was just so hyped that like for some reason I don't know when it started to the tune of Gower Plains. I would just kind of like be wandering around the house like, "Ooh, my boy Shulk is in Super Smash Brothers." And then like that just kind of stuck. That like I drove my wife crazy with it. That like it just kind of stuck in her mind forever. So then, like go forward almost 10 years, and actually this I started working on this track in February. It was the very last track that I made for the album. Like everything else was already recorded and done. And this one, it was mainly a matter of like, oh, I've got time. Because what happens is I got laid off from my job. So it's like I got more time to work on stuff. And I mean,
Serendipity.
yeah. So then, like with like I thought, man, I gotta do like all these years I've been thinking I gotta do something with Gar Plains because I love that song, but I could never think of how to do it justice. Like I couldn't figure out how to do it as a straight surf kind of song,
Right.
and I'm just kind of playing around that way. I could try to make this a bit more Latinified, and it worked out super well. So, and when it came time to title it, I realized, wait, no one is gonna get this joke. This is between my wife and I, pretty much. I'm gonna name it My Boy Shulk. All thanks to Smash Bros. Like the hype for Smash Brothers way back in 2014.
Aw, that's so sweet. Oh man, what a nice history for that one. And I'm sorry for misspelling Gar planes, not Guar planes. Oh my god.
We don't. I
Uh,
mean, it's not like I know how to pronounce it either. I'm pretty sure it's. I mean, maybe I don't know how. I just I just know how to rate it. That's it.
they need to fund more voice acting in JRPGs so that we know how to pronounce all of these ridiculous things.
See, that's the thing. Like the series is fully voice acted, like completely. It's just uh, I don't. I mean, I don't recall a moment in the game where where they straight up say Gar Plains because you kind of just walk out into it from Colony Line.
Hmm.
I don't know. I need maybe I need to do another playthrough, but I think I've already done so many playthroughs of the Xenoblade series, and it's like,
Oh
man,
man.
I've got other RPGs to finish. Like, I gotta finish. I mean, right now I'm in the middle of Tears of the Kingdom, and that's not going to
Mm.
be done for months.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the old backlog.
The old backlog problem. Oh my god. Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, well, we've got some more music to dip into here. Maybe you can pull up your backlog and play while we listen to this next track. This next couple of tracks, actually. So you said we came out of Colony 9. We're in the Guar Plains. So we're seeing kind of like a natural story progression with your track order here. We're going from the plains into the forest with the Los Nopon Tropicos, which is a cover of the Forest of Nopon. And then we're going to go into the shores of Satori, which is
Satterel.
Satterol. Oh my god. Okay. Let me make sure I have that title card ready.
And
Oh my
also,
god.
and it's those two are kind of flipped. It's just like I just kept them thematic because technically in the game you go to Satterel Marsh before you go to Machina Forest, but it's just like it just fit way better having like going from Gar Plains into Forest of the Napon. All right.
There we go. We've got a raid. Hey, what's up, Swag
Sweet.
Fam? Oh, what's up, Swag Fam? Thanks for raiding in with your party. Hey, everyone. Hope you all had fun. What were you guys doing over there tonight? We've got a listening party here tonight for our good friend Daniel, aka Audio Mocha. He has released a Xenoblade Chronicles surf rock tribute album. So if you like Xenoblade, if you like surf rock, if you like VGM, you are in the right place. So please stick around. Oh, nice to see all of our old friends here in chat. Achieve Zen, what's up? Sweet Beegis, what's up? Oh my God, Humming Hermano, haven't seen you in a while. And T-Bone, yeah, absolutely, awesome. Well, thanks for coming in, folks. Hope you stick around. We were just about to dig into tracks 3 and 4 of this awesome album. So good timing, joining in. But yeah, we've gone from a colony into the plains. We're now headed into the forest and the marshes. So we're going to listen to Los Nopon Tropicos and the shores of Satoral. Corrected that now. So let's listen. All right, I'll let you swallow that food at least there, Daniel. Sneaking it in backstage. Dude, that was quite a ripping track that we just listened to. Yeah, that was incredible. That was the Shores of Satoral. That was very dry sounding for a marsh theme. Naturally, of course, with a tremolo guitar sound, definitely evokes that kind of dry heat. But yeah, dude, that was absolutely incredible. So you have expressed that you want to do a challenge here on Let's Listen, and that is that the album is live. Folks in chat, the album is live on Bandcamp. There's the link. Definitely go click on it and grab it for yourself. And Daniel, do you want to say what the challenge is, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, for every sale that I make, I'm gonna go ahead and do 10 push-ups. So I want to see if y'all can make me suffer a bunch tonight.
Suffer a bunch or get swole tonight. Oh man, you got to get your beach bod on.
That's
those,
right.
those 10 push-ups. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll rely on you to let us know when those sales come in, folks. But yeah, you don't really have much excuse. The album is $10. What do we say over here on Bonus Stage, folks? $10. It's not really a donation. You're making a purchase, but all the same, it is for the arts. So head on over there and do that. Awesome, dude. Well, yeah, everything is sounding incredible so far. Really good arrangements as well. I want to know about the forest and the marsh themes here. Was that kind of like a similar approach where you sit down with your looper and just kind of like play through it and see what comes out of it, or what was your approach?
So for Forest, I don't know. Did we talk about that one live, or was
We
that
might have like
backstage?
led into it a little bit. Let's just make sure.
Okay, so for Forest, that one is actually my like I'll preface. It ended up being my favorite track, even though I came into it and I was just I was just looking for Xenoblade tracks that haven't gotten much love, like say on Spotify.
Hmm.
So for that one, I just thought let me see which one. I mean, I'll pick Magna Forest. Let me see what I do with it. And at first, like I wasn't feeling super hot about it because it wasn't one of my favorite tracks. It's kind of super mellow and everything. I just I thought of it as a challenge. And then I sat down with my looper, and I was just kind of playing it all syncopated and whatnot. And and then I realized this sounds really good Latin, and I just kept playing through it. And I thought, let me put some slide guitar in there because I mean, I want to put slide guitar in everything. And I ended up like absolutely loving that track, even though just like it came out of like kind of came out of nowhere for me. It was just kind of like an off the cuff choice. Source of Shadow, Source of Saddle. That one I actually had like I had a vague idea of what I wanted to do with it because the original track, the night version is the one that always got all the love, but I kind of like the day version, and I always thought this would sound perfect with slide guitar for like the call and response, and like I just come here that one I did kind of loop through it, but I had a more concrete idea for it. But yeah, like I said, Forest of the Napon ended up being like my absolute favorite one, like out of the whole album. It's just absolutely great. And now talking about now that I check my email, I think it's time
Oh,
for 20 push-ups.
20 push-ups. Oh man.
All
Oh
right,
dang. All right,
let me
folks.
see if this headphones are long enough. Let's see. We all
All
got
right.
enough.
Let me make sure that you're highlighted here. All right, there
There
we
we go.
go.
We got it.
All right. Do you want us to count with you? One,
One,
two,
two, three,
three,
four,
four,
five,
five,
six,
six, seven,
seven,
eight,
eight, nine,
nine, 10.
10. That's for the first one.
That's for the first one.
One,
Oh, pause. Nice. 11,
two,
12,
three,
13,
14,
14,
15,
15,
16,
16. Look at those triceps.
17,
17,
18,
18,
19,
19,
20.
20. Oh man.
All right.
That was nothing. My goodness. Oh, we're gonna sweat up a storm here, folks. Yeah, so thank you for those purchases, and hope you enjoy the album. You haven't even heard the whole thing yet, and you're already like hitting it up. Got to have more of it. Awesome! Thank you so much for supporting the arts today, folks. Maybe we'll get on with a little bit more of the music. We've got coming up next a couple of tracks from Xenoblade 2. So it's been Xenoblade 1. We've gone from the colony to the plains to the forest to the marsh. Now we're in the next title altogether, and we've got the Giga Rosa and Christmas Time in Tantal. Okay, what can you do to prepare our ears for what's coming next here, Daniel?
Oh well, what I would say is that I feel like the Giga Rosa's got a bit more of a British flavor because I went ham on the organ for that one.
Okay,
Christmas Time in Tantal, that was one of my oldest tracks that I re-recorded. It is Christmas.
great. Okay, that's that's that. Awesome. Sweet. Well, then in that case, let's listen, folks. Oh man, Christmas time in Tantal. Um, yeah, all right. Well, tell us a little bit about these arrangements then, because you had the Go Go Giga Rosa. You said was a little bit more British. Definitely caught that Go Go vibe, which is kind of like it's very much in the same vein as the surf music.
It's
Um,
old 1960s. So
yeah.
that one, I mean, I just like, I mean, I just like using my, well, I mean, I mean, an Oregon VST that I've been using for years that I always love to do like stuff like, man, everyone can hear that he chose the wrong time to be fuzzy.
Oh
But
man.
like, I always like playing stuff that sounds pretty much, you know how in cartoons like to say, well, like always put the organs like this is the British character,
Hmm.
and it's kind of, I mean, like I just wanted to play like that for that. I mean, for that track,
Hmm.
and kind of like my usual jam with it a whole bunch of my looper. And that one. Now I remember is that I submitted it to Dwelling of Duels. It was one of the first tracks I worked on for the album. I
Hmm.
mean, let me check the timeline actually here on my.
Right.
Uh, can you? Oh, awesome! You can sort by month. Perfect. Oh, all hail Austin.
Yeah. No kidding.
But that one was, yeah, one of the very first tracks that like I kind of ended up. I mean, kind of ended up somewhat finishing. I submitted it for Fresh Month last June, but that was an earlier version. Like I considered this one a more complete version because it's. I mean, it has an ending that I actually like. The other one just kind of stopped.
Hmm.
But then this one, I kept going beyond the bass solo. So I mean, yeah, I just wanted to go for that nice like British organ sound from the '60s Vox Continental. You know, that's that's pretty much my like my vibe that I like to get for Christmas time in Tantal. That one is a re-recording of one of my real old covers. I forget when I actually finished that up. I think that up on. Let me see when I put it up on YouTube. But that's one of my earliest covers.
Oh wow.
You know, and I wanted, I when I finally started working on the Xenoblade album, because the reason I finally got started with the Xenoblade album as well is because last year, uh, GameGrooves had started what do you call the album, the GameGrooves album challenge,
Hmm.
and I thought this sounds like the perfect reason for me to finally start. For me to for me to make new Xenoblade tracks as well as re-record some of my older ones.
Hmm.
So Christmas Time in Tantal was actually that was from 4 years ago, and I wanted to do it justice. Like the arrangement is pretty much still the same. I still like the arrangement, and in fact, most of the MIDI for the piano went unchanged. I mean, I know a real pianist is going to be like that. I mean, that ain't real, but it's like whatever, man. I mean, I'm there for the guitar mainly, but I mean, the reason I went for the Christmas vibe on that one is because I love that track, the night version. The night version is just absolutely one of my favorite tracks. I was obsessed with the guitar tone for it for a while, and I was always trying to replicate it because it's nice, clean, and chimey.
Hmm.
And I thought this place is all snowed out and everything. Let me try to make it Christmassy, and that's how that one came about.
That's awesome, dude. Well, yeah, you definitely hit home with that with those themes. Absolutely. Oh man. Well, okay. So the next track that we're playing here, this it's called "It's Mobin Time," uh, and this is actually not listed on Bandcamp. This is actually a bonus track, isn't that right?
Yes,
Oh man.
yeah, it's not listed, but if you buy the album, you're gonna get it.
Oh man, if you make Daniel do 10 push-ups tonight, you will get a bonus track. I mean, you'll get a bonus track
You'll get a bonus
whenever you
track on
buy it
bonus stage.
on bonus stage. Oh man, dude, some bonus push-ups. That sounds amazing. Um,
Ooh,
but yeah,
yeah.
we're
Like,
gonna.
how about
Sorry,
for this block, we make it 50, like we make it 20 per sale. You
20.
know,
You've got
bonus
it, man. This is
bonus bonus track for a bonus stage. We get some bonus push-ups.
wow. All right, folks. So what if you buy the album, I'll put the link fresh in chat for you. If you buy the album in the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to do some bonus push-ups for the bonus track. That's amazing, Daniel. You're going to be so swole. I believe in you, man.
That's the goal. It's the start of summer. It's the summer solstice today. That's why the release was supposed to be today uh, for streaming, but only Bandcamp was able to come through.
Right, man. Oh, yeah. Well, we can talk about that maybe after the next break. But yeah. So we're gonna listen to "It's Mobin Time," and "You Will Know Our Names." Yeah. What can you do to prepare us for these ones, Daniel?
So Moving Time, these two are pretty. Like I would say, they're pretty straight covers. I mean, because Moving Time, I ended up starting out because it seemed like everything Xenoblade just like happened at the same time. So what happened was the album was also included as part of a Xenoblade zine called Beyond the Sky, a Xenoblade Travel Zine. And I contribute originally my plan was to just contribute one track, but then I realized, you know what? I'm doing this all at once. So I just asked the mods, hey, I how about we just do my entire album, including the Moving Time? And they said, oh no, that sounds great. So Moving Time is because of memes that age like milk. We all remember Morbius from last year. So, and since Xenoblade 3 released last year, everyone was making the whole it's moving time jokes. There's even a GIF online like that just keeps floating around.
Sorry, did you just deliberately call it a GIF? Oh,
see, I had a feeling that you might get nitpicky, but you know what?
You didn't slip by me, man.
You know what? This is a fight for another place.
Oh, okay, all right. A dwelling, you say?
So I just thought, so for the zine, I thought they said, oh, any track from any Xenoblade game, and at that point, the track most fresh in my mind was the Mobius battle theme, and I thought, oh man, I gotta do that. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna name it "It's Moving Time." So that one is pretty much. Pretty much it for that track. You Will Know Our Names is also a pretty straight cover of the original. It's just, since it works out really well for Surf, I just kind of, played it off straight. Even the title is like the only one that's just the original title from the game. Like I didn't go with a fancy title, so it's.
You spared some expense on that title, yeah. Oh man! And one of these tracks is also from Xenoblade 3, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Moving Time.
It's Moving Time. That's so beautiful. All right, folks. Well, you heard it. It's time for Mobin. It's Mobin time. So let's listen. Dang, you mean business with that track. You will know our names. Yeah, that was epic. And you said that one was pretty close to the original as well. Are you like fighting a boss or something? What's happening there?
That one is indeed the main boss theme. At least I mean it's the one that you get then when you're about to fight a unique monster. So it's like yeah, it's the big oh there's multiple boss themes, but that's the one of the more popular ones.
Nice, nice, nice. And then Morbin time. I mean, sorry, Mobin time. Uh, that
That
one
one
was
is
fun too, man.
that one is also from a boss fight theme, but it's specifically for the boss fights against Mobius, which are the main enemy of Xenoblade 3,
Hmm.
which is which is amazing and you all should play. But caveat, you also need to play the DLC, but we don't need to get into that here because it's not that kind of stream. I can get okay detailed. There are bigger Xenoblade fans that are able to get much more detailed that somehow remember a lot more than I.
Hey, man, if you've got a real passion and something nerdy to say about Xenoblade, this is definitely the place to do it. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to dwell on it if you don't want to. That's totally fine. Um,
I
yeah,
mean,
dude.
it's not like it's there's it. I mean, it's just like the Mobius battle theme.
Hmm.
Uh, one of the greatest tracks from that whole soundtrack. So like I did. I mean, I started making that one for Beyond the Sky, and because I mean, I just thought this is my chance to finally do this. All the stars have lined up. It's a great track. I don't want to wait for another Xenoblade release in the future. Let me put it in this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we just have a couple more songs to listen to, but I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to talk about this album artwork. Oh man, Seeds of Destiny. This guy looks super cool. Is this what you look like without a shirt on?
Definitely, yeah, including the six pack. I mean, if I take off my shirt, it will just blow up the stream, and then Twitch will ban bonus stage. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do everyone a favor here and not.
All right. We'll just get this illustrated version just to avoid any violations of the terms of service. Yeah, but we've got that is one heck of a jump. Can I ask, are you a surfer yourself, Daniel?
Funny enough, not really. So uh, now I'm a little bit less of a fake, but when I first started like doing surf music, it was let's see, this was back in maybe 2014. Basically, like back in college, I listened to a lot of Joe Citriani. I was doing a whole bunch of like checking out a whole bunch of music because I had finally found instrumental artists that I liked. Because before that, like I hadn't like I was always looking for instrumental rock, but everything was just like I don't know, super nerdy prog stuff that I just wasn't really digging. I just thought I want more stuff like Black Mages, but
Mm.
you know the Black Mages are dead,
F's in chat
and
for the Black Mages. Yeah.
God, I was so like that was so sad when I went online and realized they disbanded. It's like wow, never even got to buy one of their albums, but I remember like on the release of like Darkness and Starlight, that was just like yes, this like I listened to those tracks a whole bunch. Anyway, back to my point. I almost forgot like what we were talking about, but I was listening to a whole bunch of Joe Satriani, and I remember one of the tracks that made a big impression on me was Sleepwalk. So I just thought this sounds pretty cool. It's a nice chill track. I don't know if no one's familiar. Uh, it's actually played on slide guitar, but I didn't know that back then. Josie Trani doesn't play that way.
Hmm.
Um, and randomly, just one day, since I was just listening to Pandora, like while doing schoolwork and whatnot, I just thought, oh, let me find some of like some I don't know. I guess they call it surf rock. And then I just started getting put like a bunch of stuff that was really cool, and I thought this is super nice. Some of it's got a nice SpongeBob vibe, which if y'all don't know me, I'm also a big SpongeBob fan. But like that ended up happening. And then later on, there was a Final Fantasy curtain call. What do you call it? I forgot the name of the challenge. Basically, you were supposed to make a remix of the Final Fantasy. Was it the Crystal theme? No, the main theme.
Mm.
And there was a chance that like if you won or if you made it really up there, uh, you would be judged by Uematsu himself. So it's like, man,
Whoa.
I gotta participate in that. And I thought, all right, what do I do? Everyone makes metal. Let me try working with surf rock, and that's kind of just how I just started the journey into surf rock. But back then, I mean, I I barely did anything extreme at that point. I was just starting a mountain bike at that point, and I mean, now I'm slightly less of a fake because now I've got my surf skate. So I mean, which is supposed to simulate surfing.
Mm.
And then last summer, when we traveled to Miami, I was actually able to finally stand on the flow rider. I don't know if y'all know those machines where like it's like a pool where they shoot water up at you and you're supposed to like surf on it.
Mm.
First time I tried that, I just like absolutely bailed a whole bunch of times and just like absolutely like I just like absolutely face planted a whole bunch of times. But this time I was able to stand, so I'm just like, yes, I'm not a fake anymore. I can finally do something surf related.
Oh man, I hope you got some pictures of that.
I've got plenty of pictures, and I've actually got a video of me just like absolutely eating it, like my very first time.
Oh man.
I think I I think I don't have that one on YouTube, so I might have to upload it to my channel just to mess around because I'm pretty sure I put that one on Instagram.
Oh
But
wow.
I've got like I'm really bad about my YouTube because making music is fun, but making videos is like, man, do I want to do this or do I want to just play guitar?
Oh man. Well, if you need a preview of what it looks like to watch Daniel surf, I think this is about as good as we've got online at the moment. Uh, there it is, Seas of Destiny. Oh man. Right on, dude. Well, I think we've just got the two tracks left. We have Surfing with Zanza, the definitive edition, and the Wave Slaying Board, which is a really great retitling of the God Slaying Sword. Awesome, man. What can you tell us about these two tracks before we listen?
So this is some of the fun stuff. So surfing with Zanza was actually one of my very first tracks that I ever worked with in VGM. It might actually be my second because technically the Final Fantasy track that I made for the contest was my first one, but that one, like I just kind of threw that one together in Audacity, so I kind of counted as like half first. But surfing with Zanza is that's I mean, right. Xenoblade's been out for 11 years, so there's no such thing as spoiler.
Yep.
12 years or 13.
It's
Anyway,
technically retro, yeah.
yeah, at this point, it's like if you're looking out for spoilers, I'm sorry, dude. But surfing with Zanza is the first boss theme that plays when you're in the when you're at the very end of the game. Uh, I listened to that track a whole bunch, back in those days, and I thought, I wonder if I could make this sound like surf rock. I recorded it, and I thought this is pretty awesome, and it became one of my favorite tracks to like just like absolutely jam over. I made a version of it finally for my very first commercial release, Super Surf Brothers.
Hmm.
That one's not on Bandcamp because at this point it would be a well. At this point it would be kind of maybe a licensing a licensing.
Hmm.
That would be kind of tricky to deal with. I mean, so maybe we'll have to be like a free release at this point just to kind of like you know right that
Yeah.
gray area. But I made that track for that album, and I mean it was still one of my favorite arrangements. But back then, I wasn't like I hadn't quite figured out my guitar tone just yet.
Hmm.
So back then I was mainly using my very metally Ivan not Ivan S. What was it? My ESP LTD
Hmm.
with its original stock. Actually, not even original stock pickups. I mean, I had EMG pickups on it, so I did not like that. Every time I listen to the old tracks, it's like I love this arrangement, but the tone is just kind of not there.
Right.
So I wanted to re-record the song, and then I did it for this album. Wave Slaying Board. I've had that title in my head for just an absolutely long time. What I wanted, and I mean, it was pretty much one of the similar stories where I kept listening to the song. I lived it from the original soundtrack and thinking, man, this could sound pretty surfy if I'm able to do it right.
Hmm.
And I was just like record. I mean, I played around with recordings. I don't think I went through my looper in that one as much. I kind of like I think I remember just hopping straight into my DAW because the idea was just like I felt like the idea was very much there, and it was. I mean, yeah. I mean that's pretty much it. I just said let me like the original melody like just felt like something that I needed to do, kind of like most like to put it in more popular terms in kind of a Pulp Fiction style, like a Dick Dale tremolo on the low strings kind of way. Worked like for like that one's another one of my favorite tracks from this album because it's just like an absolute blast to play through,
Mm.
and that one's got one of my more unique solos in it actually, mainly because it's not actually because I didn't do it on guitar.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, shoot, I'm really excited to listen to this now, folks. We're going to hear Surfing with Zanza, the definitive edition, and the Wave Slaying Board. So let's listen. Absolutely epic, dude. Bravo, well done. That was
Thank you.
yeah, that was pretty incredible, man. Way to end it. Good, strong ending. 100%. Um, yeah, dude. I mean, what more can we say? What more would you like to say about surfing with Zanza and the wave slaying board?
I think. I mean, I think I already mentioned the whole life story for Surfing with Zanza
Yeah,
because that's just been like one of my earliest tracks. And also, it's also the track that's carried me the most on spot. Like the original version is the one that's carried me the most on Spotify.
nice.
So
Always got to have one.
I
Raking
mean,
in those cents.
oh, it's super nice. I mean, that's what I mean. I love Xenoblade and I love the Xenoblade fan community because they're huge on supporting. So I mean, that track like, it just has so much gotten so much traction, and it's one of the ones where most of my solos when I'm playing them live, I just kind of improvise on the spot. But for that one, it's like I remember like I have a set solo that I love doing. The one difference I would say this one has versus the original is that I added an extra organ solo towards at the end of my guitar solo,
Mhm.
and then I decided to have a little bit of extra fun because I don't know if it was super noticeable in the mix. I mean, I'm not a super great producer. I try my best, but one crazy thing that I tried doing is I thought, hey, what if I made surf gent? So I don't know. So so during the organ solo, I actually like during the whole song. Actually, I have that white guitar that you see in the background. That's
Mm.
my bass six, courtesy of Max Noel for pretty much always talking about the bass six. That I actually ended up buying one and then I put it through my surf guitar chain, and I realized this sounds positively crunchy if I just go on the lower strings. We're to the point where it's like I can add a genty sound to surf. And I mean, it's not totally unheard of. If you listen to some really old tracks, that guitar makes an appearance. I mean, it can get downright nasty. So I mean, that's one of the things I have to mention for surfing with Zanza. I also have used that like my bass six prominently in Wave Slaying Board, where I'm just like, all right, surf gent, let's go. And personally, I absolutely love the way that it just came out.
Yeah, dude. It 100% slayed. Oh man, it slayed waves. It slayed gods. Oh man, we've had quite the journey here. I feel that as a fan of JRPGs, we have definitely gone through some kind of journey, some kind of narrative. You've done a really good job of ordering your tracks to give us that feeling as well. Yeah, folks, that is Seas of Destiny, a Xenoblade Tropical Tribute, as presented by Audio Mocha. Bravo, dude! Excellent job. I'm going to drop the link in chat one more time, folks. Last call if you want to see him do what? What are we? 20 push-ups. 20 push-ups from Daniel, folks. Head on over there. Spend $10. Do it. Do it because you want the music too. But also, if you do it now, we'll get some push-ups out
Make me suffer.
of you.
And I
Oh
forgot
man,
to mention actually that the solo in Wave Slaying Board is actually me on violin.
right.
First time I did a violin for something, I back then I wasn't such hot on it, so I definitely had some melodyning to do, but I ended up being pretty pleased, and I feel like nowadays I can fake my way through it a lot better, but still learning violin. It's a tricky instrument, but
Well, an intonation
super
is
fun.
that's the entire challenge of the instrument, right? So getting that tight is yeah,
We
it
just
takes a
need
lot of practice.
we just need frets on violins.
There we go. That's the guitar player's solution to violin is frets. Oh my
I
gosh.
also just kind of want to see a fight on the chat because I mean if there's a violinist, there's just gonna be like seething. It's like frets on my instrument.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, they didn't have frets back then. Why do they need them now? Um, well, you've got quite a bit coming up, actually. because you said you are going to be going down to Miami. Is it
Yes.
awesome? Yeah, yeah. Tell us about that.
So I'm gonna be performing solo at Florida SuperCon. I actually never been to the convention. I always heard my friends talk about it, but I had a big case of being poor back then, so I just kind of didn't go.
Mhm.
I applied. Actually, I don't even see. That's a funny story because there's a company that rules SuperCon and a whole bunch of other conventions around the country. I applied for the one here in Denver, and then they got back to me about Florida SuperCon, which I think I applied to last year. So it's like, oh, all right, I guess I'm going to Florida because either way, my family and friends live there, so it's not. I mean, it's not a pain. I'm always looking for excuses to like fly back whenever, and my parents are very happy to have me and my son there. So I'm going to be playing the Florida SuperCon Saturday at 4:30 p.m. in the beer garden. The weekend after, you can find me on bonus stage.
Yeah, we got you
Percent.
on Music Online.
That's
Absolutely.
right. And this one, I'm going to make it nice and fun because it's gonna I'm gonna be doing that doing that one in a completely different setting, and I'm actually gonna be in a tropical air like in a tropical state this time. So stay tuned. Then after that, I in July. I mean, I know I'm not gonna catch many people here because there's not many Colorado natives, but in July 25th, um, I'm gonna be. It's just. I mean, I'm gonna be performing my longest set ever. Funny enough, at Rosetta Hall. Yeah, July
You're
25th.
longer than 90 minutes?
It's gonna be a 120-minute set.
Wow, dude. Oh my gosh, you're taking breaks, right?
I imagine so. I gotta see how people because I'm so used to like to the VGM crowd,
Mm.
and I'm so used to like kind of cramming in all my songs as much as I can to like say a VGM concert. Then now that I have 2 hours, it's like man, I I have the material, but that seems tiring.
Right. Give yourself a break, man. Definitely, definitely. If you're playing for 2 hours, there's no need to. Yeah. Did we lose a light over there?
We did actually. Let me well, because I mean, the lights are being turned on because the boy's going to sleep, and I guess
Okay.
my wife just turned on the light,
Yeah.
like
All right.
one of the living room lights. But you know what? I can always just kind
Hey,
of
there we
turn
go.
the camera this way.
Got a good contour on your face. Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's fitting. You know, we've spent our day in the sun on the beach surfing around, and now the sun has set. So we're closing things out. Folks, there's a lot more to look forward to in terms of bonus stage. If you're local to the Vancouver area, we're going to be at the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo, hosting a lot of incredible bands, as well as our rock band karaoke slash battle of the rock bands. That's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up on Monday, we've got GameGrooves on again for another Let's Listen, and then as Daniel mentioned, we are going to have our music online on July 8th as well. So be sure to tune in then, folks. I'm going to wrap things up. We're going to pick somebody fun to raid. But Daniel, it was a real pleasure having you here on the show today. Thank you for sharing your awesome Seas of Destiny album with us. It was a very rad, venturous time.
Well, thank you for having me. Funny that you say Rad Ventures because that's I mean Rad Venture of Link was my second commercial album.
Yeah, it was a rad venture. Absolutely, man. Well, we look forward to many more rad ventures with you. And thank you very much, folks in chat. Thank you for coming through. And we'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Thank y'all for coming.